Here we are at Bosse Field once again on a Saturday afternoon with our second player that we're talking to today. We call him Stone Cold Austin Nicely. Stone Cold, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Nice to be here.
Let's talk about your baseball journeys. That's what we love to hear. What's your earliest memory of the game of baseball?
Oh man, as early as I can remember, I was always kind of messing around at the house. My cousins, my dad, just kind of, always had some sort of ball in hand.
Did you play Little League growing up?
We did. We played Little League. Played basically Little League all the way up. Didn't really play much travel or showcase until I was about, I guess, a freshman in high school. It's kind of when I played a little more, I guess, of the big time circuit. But for as long as I can remember, it was all just Little League and kind of win or go home. You played until as far as you could go, and then when you lost out, you really didn't have to do anything again until school. So you didn't want to lose out because you didn't want to have where you just go outside and just kind of throw around anymore.
Well, you're a hardcore for sure, man.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it saved your arm though? Maybe not playing a lot of travel when you were younger.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to like a 3-sport athlete. I'm big on multi-sport guys because I think playing all three gives you that time off. Now I understand the kind of sport specific of being able to focus a little more and kind of being able to hone your craft a little better. But when you're 10 years old, I don't think you need to be working, pitching for 12 months out of the year. And I think definitely playing basketball and football definitely helps being an athlete. I would
agree with that. Who was your favorite player growing up? Who are the guys you really admired?
Oh man, baseball wise, probably Billy Wagner. He was another Virginia boy that I liked the way he threw. I liked the kind of attitude he went about things. Just here comes the heater and see if you can hit it. Then I like Jeter. It's hard not to like Jeter. That's just a baseball guy. Really, that's about it. Probably. I was more of just kind of a team, just like all sports. Didn't really have a locked, dead set player growing up.
So now you got drafted out of high school by a really, really good organization, Houston Astros. How about the journey with the Astros? What was it like playing in the Astros system?
A ton of talent, obviously, as you can tell. Won the World Series. Now they're probably contending for another one this year. And a lot of those guys, I was fortunate enough to be around and play with. It was just, a lot of fun. I was, grateful for the opportunity for sure. I guess they were on kind of the leading edge of the technology and the analytical stuff. So that was kind of different. I have, kind of a wishy-washy opinion about that. I like some stuff, I don't like some stuff. But it's definitely benefiting the game. And then, just how much talent, how good of guys were in the clubhouse every day as far as baseball and just being, good people. Some of the best guys that I've ever been around.
Now, have you primarily always been a starter, or you've been a reliever, or bounced back and forth?
I've never really been a reliever. I guess with the Astros, we did what was called a piggyback system. So you had 2 starters every day, and they would do it where one starter would start the game and go the first 5, and the second starter would go the last 4.
Okay.
And then the next start, the piggyback guy would start, and then I would go to the pen. So it's kind of a different feel. I guess it got us kind of used to coming out of the pen, but it was hard on the relievers because you never knew when a reliever was needed. If it was a perfect situation, both starters go all 9, so the pen doesn't really get much work. So yeah, with the Astros, I was mainly always a starter. High school, I was always a starter. So really this year, when I took the time to go to the pen, was kind of my first taste of really coming in, from the pen.
Did you like it?
I did. I kind of like, coming out and chucking just for an inning, but I also like getting just my own game, kind of ball in my hand, and I'm kind of in control. I like that too.
So what led you coming out to Evansville to play with the Otters?
I just kind of took some time off and didn't really know if I was going to play after I got released, and fortunate enough that I had some baseball connections that kind of knew Andy and Max, and they kind of got my name in their hands, and I was fortunate enough that they wanted me to come here. So it was kind of a win-win situation. I'd heard of how good Andy was and how good Max was with the pitching staff, and so it really led me to no-brainer to come out here. And then last year obviously was a blast, one of the most fun years I've ever had playing baseball. So I was very fortunate when they asked me to come back.
It's a really, really good organization. We've definitely been impressed. What's it like playing here at historic Bosse Field?
I feel like it's indescribable of how the history here is far to none. I mean, the best that the stadium's really cool. Like a game like last night where it's almost sold out. It's louder than any stadium I've probably played in just because it echoes. Not necessarily as much of fans on top of you or as many seats, but when it gets loud, it just echoes. Seems for days. That's how the playoffs were here last year. And what I've kind of learned is Evansville loves the Otters, and it's do or die. And I love that. I think that's like something you can only get really in a big league market because your affiliates aren't quite like that because it's just kind of a stepping stone and a ladder, and it's not that big of a deal of win or lose there. You're just trying to, you got prospects, you're trying to get to the big league. So here, it's really cool that it's, it's kind of win or go home. We're trying to put on, a good show for the fans and, hopefully make a playoff run.
Well, I think Andy said you guys have definitely a playoff run based on the roster and everything.
Yeah.
Last question, what's your favorite baseball movie?
Favorite baseball movie would have to be either Bull Durham or the Major Leagues. One of those two, or three, I guess, with the Major Leagues having so many now.
Yeah, really, really good choices. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
Come out and check this guy pitch because it's the bottom line because Austin nicely said so.
That's right.